Good morning, agents. Road Warrior here. I'm in my link weaver. My co-pilot Munchkin is over in his spot. He's ready for the day. I'm getting ready for the day. I gotta get myself some breakfast and some water for some tea. But today I have a plan, and it's the same plan as yesterday, basically. I'm throwing a field. It's gonna be a small field, but it's going to hopefully win a cycle for a single cell, maybe a couple of cells. Plan is to go through Wamsutter, Wyoming, Fort Steele, Wyoming, and all the way to Laramie, Wyoming. Those 3 points make a triangle, and just like any point, I suppose, in Euclidean geometry. Well, I suppose not any. I suppose if they're parallel. Anyways, those 3 points will form the basis of our field. There are, I believe, 8 or 9 layers in Fort Steele that I want to use, and it's over the middle of nowhere, so it's not like it's going to be a lot of MU. But the cycle score or the cell score right now that I'm targeting is like 0 for both factions. So if I can get it and keep it up, then potentially we win some checkpoints, some cycles for the resistance, which is always good. Gonna be camping in Laramie this evening, so once I'm done throwing my field, I'll be very close to my campsite. And there's not a lot of detour this time. There's like a little bit of detour that we're gonna do just to get to Fort Steele and get out of the way, and Wamsutter, I guess, is probably a little bit out of the way. But yeah, it's pretty much a straight shot along I-80. I'm really not worried about it. And once we get into Laramie, I think there's actually some active resistance there. I haven't heard from them yet, but it's possible that I'll be able to meet up with some people. So, with all that said, and my throat not cooperating with the fact that I'm recording a video, I'm just going to hop on the road pretty soon here, and we will get into it once I hit Wamsutter. See you then. Alright, agents. Made it a little ways down the road here. I'm at a rest area. I think it's called a passive solar rest area. I don't know if it's named after any particular location, but just stopped here to grab a quick break. Munchkin's here. Hi, Munchkin. You want to say hi? No? You meowed at me when I came in, but now you don't want to say hi. All right. Yeah, just gonna get back on the road here and get to that first anchor as quick as possible. I toyed with the idea of moving my anchor here, but there's green links that go all over creation up in here. So, not much point to that. Yeah, just get on the road. It should be like half an hour to the next anchor, or the first anchor. And then we'll hack for keys. And then we'll get on to Fort Steele. And I'll see you at the first anchor. Alright, agents. I'm here in Wamsutter. Still don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but whatever. I just hacked a whole bunch of keys to this portal, and I have been scrambling a little bit to try to figure out how I'm going to get a SoftBank Ultralink for the other anchor in Laramie. Finally figured out how I could get something going, because there's more than 8 links that need to go out of the Laramie anchor. Next up is going to be Fort Steele. I think it's another 45-minute drive there, and so it should be a straight shot. And I will come back to you when I get there. See you then, agents. Alright, agents. I pulled off into a gas station because I ran into a bit of a hiccup. Gosh, it's windy out here. Maybe I should go inside. I'm about halfway to Fort Steele now, and just outside of Rawlins, Wyoming, which my family knows as the armpit of America. That was informed by a trip we took when I was younger. But the problem is, as I was driving along I-80, big old sign pops up that says, I-80 closed to campers under 20,000 pounds. And that's me. At least my GVW, my gross vehicle weight, is 15,000. I think loaded I'm above 20,000, but I just don't want to risk it. It's an extreme blowover risk. So I guess what I'm gonna have to do is take state highways along the same route, which should be possible, but I don't like it. It's definitely gonna slow me down. If for no other reason, then I have to stop here and figure out what my route's gonna be. It does seem like there's a state highway that goes along the same route, but it's gonna slow me down. It's gonna be probably 55, 65, maybe 70 along the whole way, and I-80 has a speed limit of 80, so it's gonna take me longer to get where I'm going, and that is annoying. The more annoying part, honestly, to me, is they say, "Oh, it's closed," but they don't provide an alternate route. Like, why would you say, "Oh, it's closed," but then not provide an alternate route? Like, there's usually, if there's construction, there's a detour. There's detour signs. That would be helpful right now, but here I am in the middle of frickin' nowhere, Wyoming, just lamenting the fact that I cannot figure out which way to go without stopping and figuring it out myself. So that's my problem right now. I'm gonna get back on the road, and hopefully it will be easier than I imagine, but it definitely won't be trivial. So I'm gonna take a crack at it. Here we go. All right, folks, I'm at Fort Steele. It's a rest area just off the freeway. Remember just a few seconds ago when I was saying, why didn't they give me an alternate route if the freeway's closed? Yeah, they didn't give me an alternate route because there is no alternate route. I had to go on the freeway to get here. There is no way for me to get between these middle of nowhere frickin' cities without using I-80. So how can they close I-80? I don't understand it. Like, there is no way for me to get from here to Laramie without going on I-80, I'm pretty sure. This is the place where the first few parts of my spine are for this field. So I'm going to spend a few minutes here hacking for keys, linking back to, what was it called? Wam something. Can't remember now. And then there's a few more anchors a little further up the road near the historic National Monument. And hopefully I can get all this done within the next hour or so. I'm running light on time, and if I have to avoid I-80, it's just going to take longer and longer. So wish me luck, and I'll come back to you in a little bit. Well, folks, I made it to Fort Steele, but it's closed. I thought maybe it would be closed to vehicles and I could scooter in, or it would be like the ranger office would be closed, or the tours wouldn't be active, or something. No. They close it on Labor Day, and you can't get in. I mean, I probably could, if we're being fair. I could go this gate, I could scooter in, whatever. But I'm not going to do that. Among other reasons, because I'm on camera and I don't want to commit crimes against the state of Wyoming. So instead of 8 or 9 layers, I'm going to have 4 layers, which is still enough to win this cell for the resistance, but it is disappointing. So the state of Wyoming is pissing me off today, is basically the story here. Like, the whole closing I-80 thing bothers me. The whole closing this park thing bothers me. I just can't win. So I'm going to figure out how to turn around on this very rough road, and then we're going to head to Laramie, which is where the last anchor is, and we're going to throw 4 fields, which thankfully I won't need a link amp for, but God, this is a pain. Anyway, I'm going to get back on the road, eat my lunch while I'm at it, and I'll see you in Laramie, or wherever I stop between here and Laramie. All right, folks. I've taken US 30 a little ways off the interstate, thinking, oh, the interstate's closed. Ostensibly, I'll just switch to Route 30, and I'll avoid the closure. Nope, US 30 is closed too. So, I don't know what to do at this point. Wyoming DOT, what the hell am I supposed to do? As far as I can tell, there is no valid way for me to get to Laramie, where I'm staying tonight. I don't understand it. I think what I'm going to do is get back on I-80, despite the fact that I might antagonize some of the local constabulary. If they pull me over, I guess I can explain, like, hey, where else am I supposed to be? Where else am I supposed to go? I think possibly the answer is just stop traveling, but that's not really an option for me. So, yeah, I'm keeping on the road to Laramie, and I think after Laramie, the advisory stops. So tomorrow should be fine, but I have to make it to Laramie first. So, wish me luck, and I'll hopefully see you in Laramie. All right, folks. Here at the Wagon Hound rest area, and I don't know, things seem fine. About 45 minutes out from Laramie for my anchor, and there's a sign in here that says some more about the blowover hazard things. There's some bits in there, I don't know, it definitely says that I'm, quote, at risk, but it also says use your best judgment. So I figure if I'm careful, I go slow, I might be okay. I don't know, there's not really any clear indication of what I'm supposed to do, though. Like, I pulled over at this rest stop, and, like, if they wanted me to stop at this rest stop, that's fine, but there's signs here that say no overnight camping, so I can't even stay here if I wanted to. There is no clear indication of what I'm supposed to do instead of going on the freeway. So I am left to assume that the Wyoming Department of Transportation simply wants me to be careful or cease existing somehow. I don't know. I'm okay with just continuing on. It's not ideal, but it's fine. So, I'm gonna get back in the link weaver here. Here she is. I'll see Munchkin. Nope, we locked it. And there he is. You wanna say hi? No? I only get one meow? Alright, well. I'll hop back on the road here, and again, wish me luck. And hopefully I'll see you soon. Alright, agents. I'm here at the Laramie Regional Airport, which is pretty chill for being an airport, I have to say. I just drove in, parked, no problem. The anchor, final anchor, is over here. It's a wind indicator. And I threw my 4 layers. Laughable though they may be, it was like 3,000 or so each. Still managed a fair amount of MU. And, you know, it was a pretty long field, so it's definitely a blocker if anybody wants to do anything in this area. Final numbers, about 41 uniques today, including Wamsutter and Fort Steele, and then the rest areas that I stopped at, and 14,576 MU, including the base layers, which is pretty good, I would say. Certainly nothing to sneeze at. It's bigger than the fields I threw yesterday, so I'm happy with that. Here's what the fields look like now, and I'll get you info on the checkpoints, what the cell scores look like. We're impacting 3 cells with this field, so I'm hopeful that I can contribute positively to those, but the one that I'm in now, it's like a tiny, tiny part of the field is actually in this cell, so I'm not a whole I'm not a whole lot optimistic, is what I'm trying to say, I guess. But I'm optimistic that it will hit checkpoint. There's an hour to checkpoint, and I don't think there's a whole lot of active frogs in the area, so pretty good chances. Yeah, I'm decently happy with this. My campsite is only 10 minutes away, and honestly, I am beat. After all the stress of, like, being on I-80 when I probably shouldn't have been, and just trying to get to the field anchors, like, it has been very difficult. So I'm probably just going to head to the campsite. And, I mean, maybe I find that I can go get some uniques from the campsite. It seems like the campsite's kind of in Laramie. So there's a chance that I might be able to take the scooters out tonight and just, like, grab some stuff. But I'm not, like, rushing out to do that right now. I kind of want to get to the campsite, get set up, and feel like I have a base. And then I'll figure out what I want to do after that. So I'll see you at the campsite for one last check-in, and I guess I'll try to do that after checkpoint so I can give you final numbers on cell scores, but the day is pretty much over, so I'll see you in a little bit. All right, folks. After setting up the RV, going into town to grab some supplies, I'm beat. So I'm going to try and do the stuff that I need to do here. But the field did make checkpoint. It's past checkpoint now. So we hit 3 cells, but I barely affected 2 of them. So here is AM01 AM01 Foxtrot 03 before and after. Here's AM01 Foxtrot 04 before and after. And here's AM01 Echo 13, I believe, before and after. And once again, here's what the field looks like. It's been a good day. Definitely achieved mostly what I set out to achieve, but God, I am so beat after just trying my hardest to follow the road signs and not quite making it. And my arm feels funny. I don't know what that's about. I feel like I must have bruised it or something, because it does not feel good. I keep like trying to stretch it and it just doesn't quite work. So yeah, I'm just gonna try to get some rest after a little bit of chores around here. Oh, and I picked up some burrs on my ride into town, so I'm gonna deal with that too. Gosh, everything's going wrong today, but I'm safe. I'm here at the campsite. Can hardly ask for anything more, so I'm gonna call it a day. Thank you all for watching. Check the description for a link to my Patreon page where you can support me for $5 a month if you like what I'm doing and want me to keep doing it. There's also a link to my gaming channel, and while you're at it, like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And hey, remember to say hello to Munchkin in the comments. I think he deserves it after the long, long day that we had today. That's it for me. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.